So as of today, we are out the door. If there's one thing I'm not going to do, life is too short to be letting people take advantage of you, to disrespect you, to otherwise have access to you when they're not going to treat you fairly. So we are exiting the NGS Official Creator Program. Simple as that. We're going to discuss why. Let's dive in. But first, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out tremendously. Thank you very much. So this all started probably about a month ago or so. Well, it started, I guess, at the end of February into March, the entirety of March, and still into April. So this has been going on for a couple months now. We're going to dive into this whole situation and why I have ultimately decided to just go ahead and just leave, because better things are ahead if I do so. But pretty much this is how this thing unfolds here. Is that, I started noticing I had not received my official items for my PSO2 NGS account, right? So for those who don't or are not aware, the NGS official creators receive free premium and material storage, 90 days a piece. So I had noticed that it wasn't, that I had not received it yet. This was at the end of February that I noticed that I had not received it yet. So I kind of waited a little bit. I was being patient with it because, I wanted to see maybe, okay, well, maybe I just haven't got it, and I got like 7 days left or something like that until mine expires. So maybe it will show up, like right before it expires. So I was patient with it. And that was the end of February, like the very last few days of February. And then as it got closer to it, it became very apparent that it wasn't going to arrive. So I reached out on March 5th, I believe it was. It was on March 5th that I reached out in the Discord, and I asked everyone. I was like, hey, did anyone get their rewards yet? Did anyone get their, their premium, their materials? To my surprise, everyone in the server responded, yes, we got ours. You talking about the ones that we got in January? To be specific, January 29th is when these rewards were sent out to everyone. Yet I never got mine. So, okay, I'm like, okay, well, that's strange. Not really thinking too much about it at this time. And this goes on and on and on. And it's going to get very crazy. You're going to be like, okay, yeah, I see why you're leaving now. But let's keep going. Now, after that, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, let me reach out to, the contact within the official NGS Discord server. This is where this is happening at. And so I'll reach out to the one contact that we have in the NGS official Discord server. Yes, it's one contact. Everything pretty much goes through this individual. You can see that this is probably an issue as well, right here. When you have one, you ever work somewhere you only have one contact, and it's real easy for things to get drowned out because everything has to funnel through this one contact. So this one contact decides if what you say goes anywhere, anyone else hears it because it's one contact. You get what I'm saying? But at any rate, I have to go through this one contact, so I reach out to them and we start to have a discussion. So I let them know what the situation is here, and they say, okay, well, we'll look into it. And I'm thinking, okay, everything's going to be great now. Wrong. Now, keep in mind that this individual is an employee of SEGA. They are a station in a station. What is this? The military. They they reside at SEGA of America. So that is in California, the California office of SEGA of America. There's a SEGA, you get what I'm saying. So this is a SEGA employee that I'm going through for figuring out this whole thing. But what would occur next was a month of the most unprofessional smorgasbord of nonsense that I have experienced, maybe ever, or at least in a long time, in any type of professional field. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous and unacceptable. And we will touch back on this a few times throughout this video. In short, I was given the complete runaround for a month. I was dragged through this direction and this direction, and with zero updates on what was going on. Pretty much it's like, hey, I go up to someone, I tell you, hey, I want a cake that's made for a wedding, in a month and a half. And you say, okay, I can do that. And then you don't give any updates on if it's actually happening. You don't give any updates on, you don't give any confirmation, nothing. It's just silence for a month. So like you're like over here like, okay, well, the weddings get closer. I'm reaching out to them. I'm contacting them. They're not responding back. I have no idea if they're actually even making this cake. All they said was, hey, I can do it. That was it. That was it. So that's pretty much like the situation that we're going through here. That this whole thing unravels here. It's pretty much the entire situation here. that's going on here. So as you can see here, this is the Discord conversation here. And I have the name blanked out, just just to be nice and cordial, I guess, for whatnot. If you're in the Discord thing, you already know who this is. But this is what I say here. I say, "Hi there. Was reaching out as I have yet to receive this period's OCC rewards, and have 4 days left on the premium. Upon asking other creators, it would appear that these rewards were sent out at the end of January. However, I never received mine. Can you look into this? Thanks." And they respond, "I'll take a look into it. Thank you for putting this on my radar." And I say, "Thank you for the quick response. I'll be looking forward to hearing back from you and flaring up whatever mix-up happened." This was on the 5th of March. So the 6th comes, and I'm just saying, I'm a professional dude, so I do follow-ups, right? So I'm like, "Hey, hello. I'm following up with the previous conversation and inquiry regarding the OCC rewards not ever being sent to my account. Hopefully this finds you first thing in the morning so that it's fresh and gives ample amount of time to address it. I'm not sure if there's anyone in the office over the weekend, especially those who are able to trigger these in-game items. My rewards will expire on Monday, so do understand why I'm looking for some communication to be had regarding this, especially considering the previous batch, which I did not receive, was sent out at the end of January. Thanks." So obviously at this point, I'm really reaching out here to just kind of let them know, understand my situation, that, okay, well, it's about to expire. That's why he's really trying to get to the top of this, quickly, because it's about to expire. So that way they understand, where I'm coming from with that. So that's why I reached back out and followed up with that and let them, reemphasize that, the rewards prior were sent in the end of January, and this is March. So this should be something that should be definitely of high priority of getting this done. I've been a creator for over 2 years, I guess. So this should be something that you would think that would be okay. Okay, well, it's easy mix up, boom, 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 gotcha. But that's not the case. And we do get a response back on the 7th, and they say, "Hi, I will address this when I'm able to ask the team who handles these distributions. As you know, NGS is a Japanese game, and currently Japan is asleep ahead of their weekend. When I have an answer, I'll reach out. Thanks." Okay, and so I respond back, "Thanks. I was approaching the situation under the impression that global side handled distribution and global related matters, especially pertaining to its English-speaking global creators, while SEGA Japan having its own team that handles its regional situations and Japanese-speaking creators, which is how it would usually work with such a large company and its subsidiaries, right?" That's what I figured. "Figured SEGA of America and Europe, respectfully, as its subsidiaries and under different management than that of SEGA Japan, would be tasked to handle matters pertaining to their regions. Perhaps when you have time, you can break down how the structure is implemented in regards to creators of different global and Japan regions so that I can have a better understanding. Thanks again for looking into this." And so that was that conversation there. And the response did come. During this period, the responses were fairly, they were kind of on point, but this is like right there at the start. This is the 5th through the 7th. So those first 2 days, right? And so no problem. And yeah, pretty much everything operational pertaining to the game and website happens overseas. Hence the game of telephone we're all playing with each other on the specifics of things like this. So I'm okay. That's okay. Well, we'll go with that. Understandable. Fair. And I respond back, "That seems very inefficient. I wonder why it's structured like that." To laugh out loud. I understand them wanting to keep things heavily in-house in regards to the main headquarters of Japan being the ultimate overseer of things, but certain things should be able to be better mitigated without much risk to damaging that, right? Ask them if they need me to fly in to help restructure things for better efficiency or conjure up better practices. I'll tell them my one requirement is that I'll need to bring this guy to help with the process. So bringing the person I'm talking to here to try to be buddy. And then this is where things just start to unravel here, because at this point we go into limbo mode. So I'm thinking, okay, you told me this reason. I'm going to be patient, and we're going to, let you try to do the process and whatnot. I'll expect some updates, maybe here and there. Let me know that you even reached out to someone, that you contacted someone, that someone got an email, that someone's working on it, that it's not going to take forever to handle. And instead, I just get sent through the ringer for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. It is absolutely atrocious. No communication was being had, and I'm just looking for some simple answers, updates. Of course, at this point, My premium's already expired, but it is what it is, but I just want some updates, like let me know what's going on. I'm trying to, get this resolved, where I'm being as patient as I can. I wait a long time. So the next message I send is on the 12th. So the prior one was on the 7th, where we talk about the restructuring thing in Japan and the website and stuff and all that stuff. So then I followed up on the 12th, 7th to the 12th. I follow up, hey, good morning. I was reaching out as a follow up to see if there have been any updates pertaining to communication with the appropriate line of individuals in regards to the missing OCC rewards, official content creator rewards, that were issued at the end of January, which I never received. If there's anything I can do to help speed up the process, such as emailing the SEGA JP team or designated overseeing bodies, then please do let me know. While I understand patience may be necessary in regards to the situation, communication is also very important so that I may have better understanding that progress is being made and what the timelines look like for such procedures. Of course, considering that this is the first time such a thing, OCC rewards not being properly delivered, has happened to me, I'm not familiar with the procedure and timeline. This, to me, it's happened. I believe it's happened to other people though as well. I believe so, but the first time for me in the span of like 2 years of being a creator. So it's the first time. Naturally, I'm someone who puts strong emphasis on communication in order to garner clear understandings and to remove any questions or confusion that one may have. Thanks again for addressing this, and I hope to see it resolved within a reasonable time frame. Sincerely, me. So that was the response I gave on the 12th. Well, did I get a response? You guessed it. I did not get a response at all. I had to message them again after being patient again for another 8 days. No updates, y'all. No updates whatsoever. The last time I got a response was on the 7th. This is now the 20th I'm messaging them without hearing anything back, having zero idea what's going on. No, none. No idea what's going on here. So we messaged them on the 20th after 8 days of being patient here. Hey there, reaching out once more on the situation pertaining to not receiving my NGS OCC rewards that were issued out in January 2025, but were never sent to me. I opted to just see if they would appear after this week's maintenance, considering there has been a significant breakdown in communication from your SEGAs, and the rewards, however, did not appear this week. If you could respond and give some clarification as to what information you have received or what has even been done, if anything, in regards to moving towards resolving this issue, that would be great so that both parties can feel as if they are working together and being understood and reaching a solution. Right? This is how things normally work. This is how things should work, right? Both parties work together, both parties happy, you're communicating, everything's fine, it's great, right? That's how businesses work. The radio silence treatment that has been opted to be given pertaining to this matter does raise some questions as to how operations are being handled within the department that handles the NGS creators global side. I hope to hear from you soon. I will continue to check in regarding this persisting and lasting issue until matters are resolved. This is just to let you know, I'm not just going to sit here and just, get bamboozled and swindled. I'm going to keep checking in. I will annoy you to some degree. Even though I waited 8 days here and waited like 5 days prior to that, you know what I'm saying? You can't just turn ahead like you do most of the stuff in this game. Pretend it's not there. Oh, it's not there. It's not there. Which is why the community is the way it is. Because everything gets a head turned to it. Oh, it's not there. It's not there. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. It's not there. It's not a problem. And then you have a freaking dumpster fire going. But anyways, thank you for your understanding. Now, some communication is at here. I'm not going to keep reading this stuff, but I'm going to put this up on the screen so that you can read it yourself, because this is a long story time. I realize how long this is taking to read through this stuff, but I'm sure y'all are probably enjoying it to kind of see some insight here. But nonetheless, there's some communication that's had here, and this person, the SEGA employee, does respond after this March 20th message that I sent, and saying, greetings. As mentioned, when I have an update, I'll roll that out to you, and the others that reported in the server they were missing their items as well. Now, I have no idea if other people actually reported that their items were missing. They mentioned, the SEGA employee mentioned in the public chat that if anyone had the same issue, to DM them. Now, there's no way of me knowing if anyone else DM'd them, or if this is just trying to just make it look, trying to create the image as if this was a broader issue where it wasn't actually a broader issue. It was actually a me issue. They were actually talking to me. I don't know if that's the case or not. No one else said that they had this issue. When I asked, everyone seemed to have gotten the rewards. So it didn't appear as if there was another individual who have had this issue. It did not appear as such. However, it's being made to look this way, I believe, intentionally, when it's actually not. But at any rate, there's some more dialogue that goes on here, as you can see here, if you want to roll through it. And I of course, I'm being as patient and as cordial and as professional as I can be about the whole matter, with meanwhile getting ran and dragged through the mud and completely disrespected of my time. But I'm trying my best here to just be as patient as possible and try to work with them and let them know that, like, this is kind of out of pocket. You know, these rewards got sent out at the end of January. We're now about to reach April, and here we are. And there's no communications. It's just a whole poopity poop show. And so this was on the 20th here where that last communication was held. Now you fast forward again, 11 days. So I put this response here, and then I wait. I'm patient again for 11 days. So now it's the 31st. Now it's the 31st of March. It's about to be April, right? So now I respond to them. Okay, hey, it's going on a month now without even a single update. And 10 days since my last outreach, which was never responded to. Do you have anything? Literally anything. And so I go into just how tedious this whole thing is. I say I'm generally baffled by how tedious and picking at hairs this process has been made out to be, given how simplistic of a task it is. To not have not even a single update in 1 month time is completely mind-boggling. It really is. Not even a single update in an entire month's time. It's very clear that the current system implemented there is not working and needs serious restructuring. That is very obvious. And so this is very frustrating. This whole situation is extremely and utterly frustrating, as you can tell. But as I said before, try my best to, go about it cordially and just be patient, giving as much patience as I can and much time as I can, and honestly, I'm giving more patience than I should, because honestly, getting ghosted, getting ignored, all this stuff, like, I should probably be a bit more upset, but I'm not really that type of person by nature. But nonetheless, we do get a response here. Greetings, I've collected your/other submitted info via the OCC Discord server. I'm just, quote unquote, I'm anticipating the site to be updated in the 3rd week of April, and at that point, hopefully I'll either be told the items have been distributed or what the plan is. Keep in mind, this isn't a matter of company HR. This is a video game and content creator program. Please don't contact company employees outside the official PSO2 means. Thank you. And that's all I wanted was a response. So I say thank you. This response that you gave, that is an update. That's an update. That's all I wanted was an update for an entire month. Was something like that. But let me know. Oh, you're waiting until April? Let me know. You could have told me that at the beginning of March, and I would have been fine. Look, I gotta wait a month and a half. That's an update, bro. I just want an update. Period. That it's as simple as that. Give me an update. There's no communication. None. I don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, I'm just over here twiddling my thumbs, getting ignored, getting ghosted. It's like, bro, this is so unprofessional. And so I say, this response that you gave, this is an update. There is something I can work with there, with a timeline and plan of what's being done, how it's being handled. This was all I have been asking for. Some form of communication and transparency as to know anything is even taking action. And yes, I'm well aware this is not a matter of company HR, as I am not an employee of SEGA. However, if it were to have been the case that employees or SEGA were operating in bad practice by targeting or otherwise taking advantage of someone part of a SEGA program promoting a SEGA product, then naturally I would need to look for other lines of communication outside of the ones abusing the power. Correct? I have not done so and have kept things private. As previously mentioned, I want to give you all the opportunity to communicate and operate in good faith. But instead, I felt as if I was being placed on a game of cat and mouse for a month. Now I have a scope that the gears are actually moving in the set time frame to expect to hear something back. This is an update. Sincerely, me. And then out the blue, this I was the 31st, and then out the blue, suddenly on the 3rd, get a random message and just receive word that they're investigating to see what happened and your items should be available soon. Not even 12 hours later, they're there. I don't know. This was the same day as that emergency maintenance, by the way. So I actually don't know if it came after the emergency maintenance or if it came before, because I didn't go on the game. I imagine it came after the emergency maintenance. But not even 12 hours later, after this response was given, they were there. So I don't know the background logistics behind all this. All I know is that it took a whole month to get this easily thing sorted. Like, I don't know. But the whole process there was completely atrocious. Completely freaking atrocious. Now, that was just the first instance, y'all. So that one, okay, you can kind of let slide by. Okay, we're happy now. Everything's cool now. Everything's good. And, we're just living our life now. Got 3 rewards here. It's the start of April. Got my rewards. Everything's cool. Everything's cool. Okay, now we fast forward. Okay, now we fast forward when we're getting to the current time as to why this video is actually coming out, because it's repeat behavior. So now we fast forward to the end of April, till last week in specific. Last week, the NGS Official Creator website was updated with new people and stuff like that, and people getting upgrades and all that stuff, as it normally does. And lo and behold, I'm not on the website. Okay, so I'm like, okay, well, here we go again. Okay, I'm trying to be optimistic, right? So I'm thinking maybe it's just a mix-up or whatever. So naturally, I reach out. I reach out to the one contact that we have in the NGS official Discord. Remember, the one contact, the one dude. Whereas if they respond to you, they want to respond. If they don't want to respond, they don't want to respond. And you never know if it's ever leaving that Discord box. You never know, because it's one contact. You know what I'm saying? If they don't like mice, and you're an avid mice collector, might not agree. And because you don't agree, and you have a whole bunch of mice, then maybe everything that you say to that person doesn't go anywhere, because you like mice. But nonetheless, here we are once again. So I'm not on the website, and I haven't brought this up into the Discord. And well, I guess they won't know until they watch this video, because I haven't brought it up into the Discord. I just directly messaged them, because I'm trying to keep out the public and just handle this behind doors. Figure maybe it's a mix up, right? So I messaged them to see what's going on, and I say howdy. Of course, howdy, howdy, partner. Howdy. It would appear I was removed from the program, as I'm no longer on the updated NGS OCC, NGS Official Creator list just released, the website, or is it centering around the mix-up that happened? So I figured, okay, well, give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, even though that was 3 weeks ago, so there's not really much. There's no reason why that should be the case. But maybe is it because of the mix-up that happened? Clarification revolving this would be greatly appreciated. This was on the 25th, okay? Then I further messaged them later on that day. This is the morning of the 25th, and the night of the 25th, I messaged them again. Hey, just going to be upfront. This is just me being upfront now, because at this point, I know what happened last time. I know what happened the prior month. So I'm not about to do this. We're not about to do this game again. It's not happening. So at this point, I message them and I just say, hey, just going to be upfront about this to save us all some time. I need a response on this ASAP as soon as possible, and need an update on it as soon as possible, for one simple important reason. I am not in the business of misleading. I will not be someone running around misleading and misrepresenting myself as something that I am not. And if I am not, I need to be transparent with everyone that I am not. If I am, then I just know I am. Right? I was like, I'm not going to sit here and be running around like some people. There's people who have been out of the program for a long time, who were removed from the program, who still run around with their badges on and still having the descriptions that they're NGS official creators, misleading everyone in the game. There's still people who do that. I don't know. I guess they got issues, bro. I'm not that type of person. If I'm not part of something, I'm taking that stuff off. Period. If I'm not an official creator, then you're going to know I am not an official creator, and I'm not going to act like I am. Plain and simple. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used this reference before, where it's like, if you leave your job at Walmart, or you get fired from your job at Walmart, you're not gonna be walking around in your Walmart t-shirt everywhere, right? No, you're not. Same thing. Doesn't make any sense to me. But nonetheless, considering we were able to get the items issue sorted, one would assume that I am still within the program, right? Because the items to get sent to me. By the way, the date that was listed on those items was actually December of 2024, which I thought was kind of weird. I think I have a screenshot of that. Oh, if I do, it's going to be on the screen right now. So this is what I received, and so the date was actually kind of weird on that. But this was also weeks ago, so there's no way that a scenario should have appeared from this where I am somehow no longer listed on the website as being an OCC. You know, that's what I'm saying. This happened 3 weeks ago. Like, we picked this up 3 weeks ago. So there shouldn't be a situation where this is an issue. Let me be perfectly clear. I take pride in being an OCC. I take pride on my dignity and morality. Y'all have a management system that is run with extreme question, which, as someone who has worked in many different fields, I truthfully find myself dumbfounded by. Dumbfounded. I need a clear update to this matter by early next week. Assuming you can't procure an update this weekend, not sure people are working on weekends. I'm not going to be put through the ringer again, as at this point it feels as if I'm being deliberately targeted and or treated with malpractice. I'm a very patient individual, but with how poorly the situation was handled last time with items, for me to think everything was fine now, only for this to arise, is asking too much of even the Dalai Lama himself. Even the Dalai Lama. While I wear my title as NGS OCC with pride, it's important that the team behind these creators is there to assist and work with the creators, not against. Not against. There's absolutely zero reason I should need to jump through so many hoops to get simple, clear, concise answers. That should take a matter of minutes. It makes it unnecessarily difficult on me, on you, and ultimately on all of the creators. Thank you, and I look forward to your timely reply with updates concerning the information pertaining to this matter. This was on the 25th. So that was a Friday. So I give some time, and we reach out on Tuesday, the following Tuesday, which is the 29th. So we give the weekend, you know, just in case they didn't see it on the weekend, even though we have gotten responses on the weekend before, so they probably didn't see it. But, you know, of course, they would have seen it Monday, or at least Tuesday morning. I wait till Tuesday evening, or around afternoon, evening, after the lunch hours, prime time to check in, right? You know, so I wait there. Hello. This is a follow-up message to the above previous message inquiring about the NGS OCC website and website status, as the message was sent last Friday and is now evening of Tuesday without even any confirmation or acknowledgement of the situation. I will begin reaching out and getting more people involved into the matter tomorrow, Wednesday, April 30th, so that I can receive answers and assistance if I cannot get any here. Sincerely, me. Now, originally that was the plan. However, as I thought about it, I was like, yo, dude, this is too much going on here. This is too much. You're getting pulled through the ringer too much here. Did the same dance last month. I'm not going to reach out to these other people. We're just going to walk out the door. So that's where we're at now. So I opted not to go this route. Instead, y'all are getting a whole video for it, instead of me trying to reach out and pull hairs with everyone else for another month and try to, you know, have the same thing happen again, probably in another month. No, we're just going to get a video for you and we're going to just walk out the door. So that's the scenario of where we're at, and that's how we got here. You know, it's kind of like, you know, the movie. I should have started this video with, I bet you're wondering how I got here. You know, it's like, you know, it's that's how we should have started. But that's how we got here. Now, there's a whole history behind this as well that you should take note of. So do understand that I know that that there are 2 videos of mine that got flagged by them as well. And this is good information for you to know as well. So one of my videos that got flagged was the video talking about a certain alliance and a certain individual surrounding chicken and the narcissism and the manipulation that has been widespread from them. That video gave a lot of people voices to finally speak up against this type of behavior. This video was flagged by the global NGS team over here. This video was flagged and they wanted me to get rid of it. I told them no. I'm speaking on this issue. This is a real issue. This is not okay. And I'm giving hundreds of people, you saw the comments on that, hundreds of people a voice to finally speak out against this stuff. People who have felt silenced. No, I'm not deleting that video. You crazy? No, absolutely not. But they wanted that video gone. What does that tell you right there? That's kind of alarming in itself right there, that they wanted that video gone. They wanted to silence me on that. Keep that in mind. The second video was the video where I talked about how there's so much harassment, like sexual harassment. There's a lot of just weird and kind of like ERPing behavior within, and how problematic that is, which also center around that during the same time that Mr. Beast's friend, if I can't remember his name, but Mr. Beast's friend got into all that trouble with pretty much with like underage people, right? And I was talking about it because a lot of that type of stuff happens in NGS. A lot of that type of stuff is in the back doors and the scenes of NGS, or at least it was been, especially if you go into these discords that are linked to some of the stuff in NGS. But a lot of times you can openly see it within the game. And so me talking about that also got flagged. Now that one I can potentially see, I can potentially see because at least I brought up, Mr. Beast's friend, right? So it wasn't like entirely PSO related because, but it was still relevant. It was completely relevant to the game. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm talking about him and then now I'm talking about the game. No, it was completely, I was talking about him because it was relevant to the issues that were in the game. So either way, but they definitely wanted that one gone too. That one was flagged. That one was told to get rid of. I was told to get rid of that one. It was just they wanted that one dippity gone. And naturally, being me, no, I have an obligation to be transparent to the people who view my content and to what's going on here. So no, I'm not going to. I'm not harming anyone. I'm not hurting anyone here. I'm just telling the truth. I'm being transparent. I'm telling the truth. So you can't handle the truth, like the movie. You can't handle the truth. No, I was just telling the truth. That's it. And so naturally, I was not going to get rid of those. So this was a while ago. You can see the dates on those videos were over like a year ago, probably. But nonetheless, well, I guess that wasn't that most of that last one wasn't. No, I guess they were within the year. They're within the year. So, but nonetheless, these were flat. So just let you know right there to understand that as well. That I think they have been kind of trying to get at me probably for a while now because I do tend to, I'm okay with discussing these things because they need to be discussed. There's a lot of issues within the community, and there's a reason why people play this game and then they get on the game and then they're like, oh, yeah, I'm not playing this game because they immediately walk into these environments, to these communities, and there's people ERPing in public chat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, bro, and it's immediately just a place that's not welcoming. Plain and simple. I'll say, yes, I'm going to address this. Especially I'm a creator. I care about the game. I enjoy the game. I want the game to succeed. So I'm going to address these things because they are clear issues that y'all refuse to acknowledge or to address. So yeah, plain and simple. But I figured, but I'm being transparent with y'all on everything here. Everything's being uncovered. Everything's being, perfectly put into light. So there's no questions. Y'all getting all the receipts, everything like that, as I tend to always do. That's how I do. So in short, both times I was flagged for calling out clear and obvious issues within the community that were harming it substantially and that had impacted numerous peoples. Consider that. That's what I was flagged for. Now, the flagging of these two videos also brings into question about what I was told about everything happening in Japan, and it being the reason it took a month plus of that first instance concerning the items, because then what's the point of even having subsidiaries of SEGA if in different countries if you're not mitigating responsibilities? Now, obviously, the English-speaking person is going to watch that English-speaking video and determine if it should be flagged or not, right? It might be difficult for someone who's Japanese native language first to completely watch such a video and completely fully understand, whatever, different discrepancies or whatnot, because sometimes, it's like different slangs or different lingos and stuff like that, right? So you would generally want a native speaker, right? That's the whole point of having a SEGA of America, SEGA of Europe, SEGA of Japan, right? That's the whole point. And on top of that as well, you see this discrepancy with the websites as well. Sometimes the websites in Japan are updated differently than the websites on global, which goes to show that there are two different entities doing this, obviously. So, I don't know how factual, how true that statement was about what they said there. If I was just trying to just like to get some heat off of them. But I don't. There's no way for me to fully know for sure unless a Sega employee wants to pop out. Sega Japan preferably wants to pop out and say something in regards to that. I'm not sure if I can trust Sega of America right now. And there's also plays into the fact that it's substantially easier to get approved in the global program than it is in the Japan program. It's substantially easier. It's like pretty much like the global program doesn't even feel there are people in the global program. It's been like this for a long time. There are people in the global program that I don't no idea how they even in the global program. Like They might post like one video every 2 months and it has like 5 views or something like that. Like it doesn't, it makes no sense. It's very clear that the people who are managing the global NGS program, it's very clear that they are not actually abiding by any guidelines or anything like that. It's just like a team of people who are picking people who they want to pick. They're pretty much like picking favorites, and that's it. There's not any real guidelines to it. And by the way, if you're wondering too about like my videos and stuff like this, I always meet the requirements, the actual requirements that are meant for this. I always meet those with flying colors. Even with me not posting as many ingest videos here in the past month or so, which has been largely due to this whole process exhausting the hell out of me with all this nonsense and making me question if I like why am I even in this program? You know what I'm saying? Which is that's why, by the way, if you're wondering. But even with that, I still meet the requirements with flying colors. So it's not as if, oh, okay, well, they're trying to get rid of you because you're not meeting the requirements. No, I'm meeting the requirements, and much more so than probably 90% of the other people, probably 95% of the other people, probably everyone but Karopi, quite frankly. Well, and Skulls, I guess, and maybe Krona, probably all. But we're probably all in that same bubble right there. But nonetheless, that's not an issue. But global is literally, it's very clear that the people who are managing the global program are not following any guidelines. Like they're just, it's like you go to a hotel or something like that and you have this receptionist and you go there and you're trying to check in. And the receptionist is like, oh, hold on one sec. I'm on this phone call. And you sit there and you watch the receptionist talk to their friend on the phone about Pokemon cards for 10 minutes while you're waiting to get checked in. And then once they come to you, they act like nothing was wrong. Like you're now impeding on their time. That's how it feels like all the employees are at with the global program at SEGA of America. That's literally how it feels. Not even joking. Like if that's, it feels like you're doing like the bare minimum. And then it's just like a bunch of like, okay, well, let's pull you in. You get some free stuff on the company's paycheck, on the company's time. Pull you in, you get some free stuff on the company's time. Like, and there's no oversight. That's what it feels like with that whole program. And don't make me start on the Discord. I have no idea why the Discord is ran the way that it's ran, where it's just like people get invited to it, and when they're not creators, they don't get removed. This makes no sense. I've never understood this. It's been the most problematic thing. That's why there was all these leaks coming from the official Discord server some time ago, like a year back or a year or two ago. There was a whole period where there were leaks, and no one knew where the leaks were coming from. You know why? Because they don't remove people who are no longer NGS official creators. I can tell you right now, I'm leaving the Discord after this video is posted. By the time you're watching this video, I've left myself from that Discord because you know what I'm saying. I stand by my own thoughts, my own rules. So if I believe it should be like that, I'm leaving because it should be like that. I don't want to do with that. Plain until the management, the umbrella over the global program changes, how things are run changes. I don't want anything to do with that. Period. Like this is just not going to work. Not going to happen. Like I came to the realization that the people behind the NGS Creator Program constantly work to never actually better it. Quite frankly, it's as if there's no direction, no oversight, and the constant bare minimum is done. There's absolutely no zero want or effort to better the program. It feels. I no longer feel proud being a creator. I want to better the whole situation, but the management and oversight at SEGA wants absolutely none of that, dude. None of it whatsoever. It's like the person who wants to come clean up the streets, but no one cares to say anything because everyone's getting backdoor handouts from the leader or from the dealer at the expense of everything collapsing around them. So the whole everything's burning around them, but look, we're getting these handouts, getting these handouts. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how it feels like. I can't be part of such an environment. I'm the type who likes to get things done. I'm huge on communication because communication gets things done and allows you the knowledge to rapidly be successful in anything and everything you do. However, it's very clear that others involved at SEGA of America do not feel as strongly as I do about success and efficiency in handling matters. And when Monday inquiries that should take all of 2 minutes instead take 2 weeks, 2 months, well, not 2 months, but you get what I'm saying, take a long time, it's time for the entire thing. It's time for the entire freaking thing, y'all, to be restructured. Or it's time for me to go. One or the other. Which we see where this is going right here. So you already know where we got here. The amount of issues that surround this game that ultimately stem from the humans, the community, is baffling at times. So you might be wondering what happens next. Well, I'm gone. I do not play the game of disrespect. I do not deliberately disrespect others, so I expect not to be disrespected either. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I will still make NGS content, when I need to because I enjoy the game. I'm not simply someone who just like plays the game because they want to make content. No, I play the game because I enjoy the game. Y'all know this. I've told y'all this before. If I don't like a game, I'm simply not going to play, period. Now, of course, I'm not going to just push out random dilly-dally NGS content, which I generally don't in the first place. There's always a purpose to the stuff I play out. So you'll still get that stuff, and we'll still be front seat when updates happen and Vial comes out. We'll still be running it. That my group will be running it. Of course, we'll be trying to clear it, first go and everything like that. You'll still get all that. You'll still get all that. But not wearing that umbrella of NGS Official Creator now. I'll probably be a bit more critical of the game. So yeah, some of y'all might find that more enjoyable because I do reserve a little bit at times as an NGS Official Creator, but not like I'm not like to the point where I'm like ignoring things or stuff like that. No, y'all still hear all of it, but I might like be like, oh well, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe this isn't the best of things to be purchasing or stuff like that, or like fly out be like, yo, don't purchase this or stuff like that. I usually don't say stuff like that. Whereas you might hear me say stuff like that now. So it might be a bit more critical in that regard, but other than that, it's the same. So make no mistake, I'm 100% the same person I was yesterday. Just because I've had this poor experience with them doesn't mean I go and start doom posting and yeah. No, I do not. I'm still the same person I was. I'm not a toxic individual by nature. So there's none of this changes. This, yeah, you have a bad interaction with this program. SEGA of America needs some adjustments. All this, but it doesn't change who I am. Y'all see who I am. Y'all have gotten who I am for the last couple of years, for the last few years, how long I've been doing this. So all that still remains the same. That doesn't change. The people who watch me continuously, like my videos, value the fact that I keep it 100. That's what I do. Like, I'm not afraid to keep it 100. That's what I do. That's why people respect me. That's why people do value my content. And so that's not going to change. There are no switch ups here. So don't expect me to just all of a sudden, oh, he got, he's leaving the program. Now he's going to start bashing the game and doing posting the game. No, if I wanted to do that, that would have happened while I was in the program. Like I said, we keep it 100. Like I said, if that was going to happen, that would have happened a long time ago. Ain't no switch ups here, dude. And so with everything in there and the understanding of the people behind the NGS Creator Program, Content Creator Program, and how it just feels as if they're never there to better things, as if they're just there to just pretty much get a paycheck and just watch everything burn. With that said, my recommendations to Sega is that the whole process needs reviewing, dude. Like the whole freaking process needs reviewing. The entire management overseeing this needs reviewing. If you are hearing this from, if you're watching this video and you're like SEGA of Japan or something like that, and you need to reach out to SEGA of America and see what's going on with some of these departments, please do. Because this is atrocious. I've worked in many different types of fields, whether it be retail or in the kitchen or entertainment or in tech or office jobs. I've worked in all these types of different settings. And never, not once ever, never, once in my life have I ever seen such a poorly managed system in my life. Like, absolutely horrendous. Needs complete revamping. It is atrocious. It is unacceptable in any scenario. Even if I was running a sandwich stand, it would be unacceptable. Even if I was selling peanut butter jelly sandwiches to 2 people a day, it would be unacceptable. That's how bad it is. There are too many repeat issues that surround this game that have all stemmed from its community. And then this starts from the top down, because the community includes those who oversee the community and who moderate the community and the game itself. So all of them. It's not just the players. The community also includes those who oversee and moderate it. I've worked with many, many, many different fields, as I mentioned, and never have I seen something so atrocious. I worked in a 100+ degree heat, hard labor. sweating through 5 shirts a day. Never seen anything this ridiculous before, ever. This one 100% takes the cake in terms of poor management. So to further go on with this, I will be removing my badges. You will not be seeing me wear my badges. In fact, maybe I'll do this on the video right now. If there's suddenly a game on the screen right now, then obviously that means I'm doing it right now. If there's not, then it means I did it off the video. Either way, next time you see me, they're not going to be there. They will be removed from my description. It will no longer be in my description. It will the statues, the whatever the hell they call it, the medals, whatever the hell they call it, things that go in the creative space. Those will be gone. I'm removing all those. Like I said, I do not want to mislead y'all. And I'm not going to mislead y'all. Here, I will not be that person who runs around all chickadee, misleading people, trying to act like, oh, well, I'm an NGS Official Creator, ho. Even though you were removed from the program a year and a half ago, you're still running around telling people that you're an NGS Official Creator. Like, bro, you're not, like, did you peak in high school, bro? I mean, like dude, come on. But nonetheless, that will not be me. That's not the case with me. So those will be gone. Those will be removed. Yeah. So while I appreciate my time as an NGS Official Creator, and I took great pride in being one. Y'all know this. I took very great pride in being one. Throughout the years, I've been very thankful, and I've always appreciated the opportunity to be one. But it's time for me to walk away from it, because it's clear that the current management is simply not aligned with. We're not aligned with each other, and it pretty much feels like I'm just constantly going up against a wall at this point. And I'm not going to let it siphon any more of my energy than it already has, because it has siphoned my energy. And we're jumping on this one quick. You know, the minute this is, like I said, this was a quick turnaround. This was like less than a week. You know, because we just had the whole month process happen, and then now this is happening, and we're getting ghosted. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. It's not worth my time, not worth my effort. So, appreciate everyone. Appreciate the opportunity. This has nothing to do, remember, with the actual official creators who are in the program right now. This has to do with the management, the overseeing of it, of course. The individuals who are in the program, I have no problem with those people. So, but this has to do with that. So, but nonetheless, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we will continue on. Like I said, you know, I'll still be playing the game, and of course, we'll still be popping out content, you know, in multiple different things, as we always do. So nothing changes in that regard. It just means that I'm no longer flying that that banner. I'm no longer going to be under that umbrella, and you might see me be a bit more critical of things moving on in the future in regards to PSO2 NGS and their handling of the game and or management of it behind it with SEGA of America. So, anyway, much love, y'all. Thank you for sticking around and enjoying the video. I will see you on the next one. Much love. Holla. Spike to content.